In today's crypto video, I'm going to share with you guys a couple of trading opportunities that I found for Bitcoin on the short term that I think are going to be crazy profitable. Having said that, if you've not pressed that like button just quite yet, give it a little click. I'm trying to get to 500 likes on every crypto video I make. Thank you very much. What we're seeing right now over in the Bitcoin charts, for one, is a falling wedge pattern. How I would trade this is that the moment that we break out and get ourselves a confirmed candle, I would open up a long position most likely with my first take profit roughly at 20.4 thousand, my second take profit roughly at around 21.7 thousand, and my third take profit roughly at around 22.6 thousand. The moment we open a long position though, there's actually a chance of a bounce back, which is why only this time around, I'm not placing a stop loss at entry the moment that our first take profit is hit. I'm thinking of putting our stop loss slightly below our entry point. And that is to potentially catch this swoop again the moment that we retest the trend line. Then again, if you want to be a little bit safer with all of this, it's actually possible to put your stop loss at entry indeed the moment that we hit our first take profit, and to just look for a second opportunity the moment that we do retest the trend line back again. But that's for scenario number one. Scenario number two is to actually fully focus on the RSI. In this case, that would actually be to catch ourselves a little bottom. What I mean with that is if you just take a slight look at the RSI, it showcases whether or not a pair is overbought or oversold. Every single time it goes below 30, it basically showcases, hey, it is oversold. And if you actually look back on the 2-hour chart over on Binance here for Bitcoin, almost every single time it's flashed at 30, it would have been a really crazy good buying opportunity. I, however, am putting that together with our falling wedge here. And let's say that over the next couple of hours or maybe next couple of days or maybe day or so, we actually continue towards the downside. It could very well be that Bitcoin's price is going to come as low as 18 point something thousand, for example. But if that does coincide with a very low, or actually in that case, oversold RSI, it might actually be so that I'm going to try swing trade it all the way. It's funny how it's a literal kind of swing, right? All the way towards 19.1 or so thousand, basically within this falling wedge. Because as you guys all know, I'm still crazy bullish on crypto, and a lot of signs are showcasing that the bottom could already be in or could be around the corner. Having said that, there's a second bullish scenario which could be playing out really crazy over the next couple of hours already here, depending on how things move. As we were talking about yesterday, I think, or a couple of days ago, there's a descending broadening wedge, and that usually plays out towards the upside as well. I told you guys before, if we get a confirmed breakout here as well, I am most likely going to open up a long position all the way towards 21.5k or so. However, if you look at this similar chart and look at the white lines that I've drawn in, there's one underlying negative short-term indication that I have as well, and that is actually the range which we've been trading in for a little while. You can see that some of our most important points lie at 21.7 thousand, $20,000 exactly, and our big dip at roughly around 17.7k. If we're taking a good look, we have hit this bottom at 17.7, came right back to 20, actually tested as high as 21.7 again, came back to support at 20,000 exactly, reached the high yet again at 21.7, came right back down to 20. You can see we bounced off of that, have fallen below 20,000, now are retesting 20,000, and so there's a very high likelihood that we're actually right now going through and going further down to retest this 17.7k support again. Again, on the short term where you're seeing lower highs, as I already indicated with this little line up there, but a lot of that can be, I guess, neglected if we do get this breakout, and so that is why I mentioned that one first. And again, guys, to make it clear, I have a lot of links here in the description. That's very often because they're just good places to look. For example, the exchange I personally always use for leverage trading is Bybit. A link for that is down below, because then you can get up to $4,500 worth of bonuses for absolutely free. It's crazy. Having said that, there's a couple other patterns on the short term that are showcasing a negative turn for the crypto market, or rather, it's a continuation pattern here that showcases that indeed the bottom might not be in fully. To actually elaborate on that just a tiny bit, as I said before, there's two major important areas that I'm watching for right now. Our 2017-18 basically all-time high, at least the all-time high close, and the basically second highest close that we've had over on the weekly. And that first point lies here roughly at around 19.1 thousand, and our second level lies roughly at around 16.3. As I stated before, the moment that we get ourselves this weekly close below, let's say $19,000 or so, I'm honestly expecting the first dip that we're going to be getting is going to be towards 16,000. And again, our weekly candle are going to close in, let's see here, it is right now 5 So we have about 7 more hours left until it's going to close. And depending on how big the dip is going to be today or how far the prices reach, you can see here as well, 7 hours and 8 minutes left. It's also going to decide whether or not I'm turning bullish or bearish. Then again, most other patterns I've showcased to you guys are showcasing no. It really looks more as if there's a bottom in. And again, guys, if you're more of a crypto holder rather than a trader, remember that right now this RSI is flashing a crazy buy signal. It is showcasing that the market is oversold like crazy. And I think historically as well, if you just buy every single time the RSI is flashing oversold over on the weekly for Bitcoin, you really can't go wrong. But again, that's my thoughts. Regarding XRP, I honestly think that if we want to take one trade, the safest or easiest trade we can make right now is just to try swing it all the way back to our 34. XRP's chart honestly does look quite bullish. Then again, what makes things kind of difficult, right, is actually the underlying S&P. As I've stated before, the S&P has decided where Bitcoin goes for a very long time, and right now that's not really a different scenario either. It's just been happening for a long time. And right now you can see as well over the last couple of months here, the S&P has been making continuously lower highs and actually lower lows for that matter as well. And so whenever we talk about a Bitcoin bottom, it's actually that point where all of a sudden Bitcoin is going to be more so valued for its true utility rather than just following along the traditional asset markets. Because if we're up to the S&P, there's a good chance that it's just going to keep continuing to go lower. Even though on the short term, obviously, it could get a little bit of a pump going yet again. For example, a little relief rally or potentially a big fake out like this. But if you want to be extra safe and you want to take a really big swing, then we should actually just trade everything and go long on everything the moment that the S&P breaks out. And even though it could be a fake out, it's mostly going to last at least for a little while. And in that period, we can make a huge amount of profit on some long positions. But if we don't break out, we should also accept there is some room for Bitcoin's price to go down lower on the short term. Again, I'm not excluding it. And everybody who's excluding Bitcoin to go down lower, I think is foolish. Even though I'm a big believer in crypto, and I honestly don't think that these crypto prices will stay this low forever. I think it's going to be crazy bullish over longer periods of time. The short term, I would not be too surprised if we actually do end up going towards $16.1 thousand or so, $16.3 thousand, or potentially even lower. But the thing is, guys, if we do get there, there's two main scenarios that I have. One is just buy on spot. To buy everything, just stack up. Or two, and basically dice. And two is to actually open up some long positions because at that point, I think we're going to be so juicy. One of the main reasons I'm saying that is because, for example, the Celsius liquidation price in terms of Bitcoin is at $12.2 thousand. And as you just saw right now from that little chart, I mean, if it's going as low as 12.4K, there's most likely to be a ton of support around that area. But more importantly, at around that area, if you get to buy in, where basically the liquidation price of some of these bigger funds is, you're in a good position. At least that's what I always think about. So that's whenever they talk about Bitcoin going way lower as a negative thing, such a bullish thing for me. I really honestly would hope at that point, again, we're getting a fair chance at getting some of the crypto prices that we had years ago when I didn't have as much money as I have right now. And so I'm honestly feeling as if it's like just a chance bestowed upon us, right? To buy crypto at a lower spot. It's like a privilege more so than a curse. Regarding Ethereum, by the way, we're still within range. Now in the short term, we're actually seeing a little upswing. And again, it would not surprise me if, as long as Bitcoin doesn't get a crazy crash going, that Ethereum will go back to the 2017 all-time highs, basically roughly at around $13 to $1,400 as this trend continues on until we get a breakout towards the downside, where I'm expecting again Ethereum to come back as low as $900 or so again. Right now on Bitcoin, though, it's looking as if we are going to break out, right? It really is looking like it. It's looking as if Bitcoin is having a breakout on the short term, which is juicy to see. Don't get faked out by a lot of these things, guys, because, I mean, it's the weekly close, so there could be a lot of volatility over the next couple of hours. That doesn't mean we have to go all too crazy, but I'm watching this surely as I think something really crazy is about to happen. And it looks as if Bitcoin might already be breaking out right here, so I'm going to be watching it carefully, and you guys know what trades I'm going to take. Again, guys, if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button on the video. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today. I just want to quickly make clear as well, I also have a TikTok that I'm doing small, like 30-second stories on every day from now on, I think. And I'm also revamping my Patreon/YouTube memberships. I'm going to do a lot more over on those two if you guys were wondering, or if you were subscribed but you didn't find there's enough action. A lot of stuff is going to continue on from now forward again.